Hey guys, long time no see. I'm out here in my garage. Hopefully the video quality is pretty good. It seems like it's pretty good. Better, just as good as the camera I used to use, camera phone. Hopefully the mic is picking me up well. I'm in my garage with the doors down so the traffic sound will be blocked out, but I do have a fan running just to keep the air stirred up a little bit in here. But anyway, last week, which would have been the week of the 6th in July, I went to Kingsport, Tennessee. There's a dealer over there that sells Scag, and they let me demo a Turf Tiger 2. It's practically a brand new mower. It's only 68 hours on it. It's 61 inch, 37 horsepower Vanguard EFI engine. Just an absolute tank of a mower. But they had the original deal was going to be, I was going to pick it up that day, use it the next day, and then take it back on Friday. Well, I ended up using it that evening and took it back the next morning, partially because they don't really like the idea of, keeping it out for so long. They let me do it, or was going to let me do it, but I took it back just to make things easier on them, really. And then two, I just honestly wasn't very impressed with the cut quality. Now, given the situation of the yards I was mowing, a lot of people are going to be like, well, no wonder it didn't cut good. Nothing will cut good in this situation. Blah, blah, blah. Well, the first yard I cut was about 2.5 weeks to almost 3 weeks of growth. All weeds and wet. It had just rained on it. I don't know how much, but it was wet. I was cutting on 3 1/4, and that mower left stragglers. Weeds, almost anything. It just didn't cut good, and it clumped very badly. I honestly expected a lot better cut out of that mower, but again, I know that situation, the type of grass and everything, all that situation was rough on any mower to do. But this is not me being biased. This is just absolute fact. My X540 John Deere garden tractor, in one pass, maybe not quite as fast. I wasn't going very fast anyway, but maybe not as fast as that Scag was going, but still at a decent clip, not creeping. My garden tractor would have cut that grass with dull blades cleaner in one pass than that big commercial Scag zero turn did. And that's absolute fact. That's me knowing from experience using that mower just what it can do and what it can't do. But as far as the mower itself, it's an absolute tank, but there's a lot of things I just didn't like about it. I wasn't impressed with the cut quality. I do think the blades were dull. I took it back to the dealer and he looked at the blades and he thought that they wasn't in the best of shape. So that's probably the biggest reason it didn't cut very good. But two, whereas a 61 inch, I thought I would like a 60 inch mower, but no. The yards in this area are just so uneven. There's potholes, little ditches, I don't mean like ditches, I mean just little furrows, whatever you want to call them, in the ground in every yard around here, because this whole entire area is on like limestone basins and sand rock and just anything you can think of. There's rocks absolutely everywhere, and even if your yard doesn't have any sticking out of the ground, there's rocks down under them. There's boulders, shelf rock, whatever you want to call it. There's stuff like that everywhere, and yards are uneven anywhere you go because of that. Like old trees may be taken out some years in the past, because this is all pretty much farmland. Pretty much everywhere around here at one point or another has been used as farmland at some point or another. So there's going to be, uneven ground anywhere you go. So a bigger mower just don't cut it good around here. It just scalps it too bad, or it leaves it too high in places or whatever. But like I say, I really thought I would want a 60-some inch mower, but I'm going to have to stick with 54, 52 inch because they just cut better. 48 would be even better, but I just need the bigger cut. I believe the 54 is just fine. I know Exterminator, whenever he sees this, he's going to be like, I told you so. But also the lap bars on that mower, where they connect on the sides, I believe, best I remember, I've used a Snapper Pro 200, whatever the number markings, SX, whatever, the biggest Snapper Pro they make, that did a 61-inch cut. I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, the lap bars on them are wide all the way down, and they don't rub my legs at all. On this Scag, the aluminum blocks that connect the levers to the transmissions and the actual lap bars to that, those were rubbing on my legs, and after a while they would chafe me, which I'm a big guy, so no surprise there, but they could have made that part still wider than that. And because of that, I would kind of leave the levers out a little bit, just enough that I could still work them, but not rub my legs as much, and that would mess up my driving just a little bit with the mower. Wasn't very impressed with that. The motor ran absolutely great, which it should. It's brand new, but when it's starting it, sometimes it would be slow to start. For EFI, I thought that was weird. It'd crank for a good 15-20 seconds sometimes before it would ever start, which that's no big deal, but I still found that kind of odd. But and I've noticed this on a lot of bigger zero turns, like more big heavy duty zero turns. This mower was difficult to turn sometimes because it would want to slide. And it may just be because because of the lap bar situation, and I'm rusty with zero turns. I've always kind of had this trouble with zero turns in general, even somewhat smaller, lighter weight ones. Maybe I just don't get one to turn backwards or something enough, and the other one I've got going forward too much and it wants to slide around a lot or something. But this mower did it a lot. And I've used a big 3-cylinder diesel Kubota 72-inch zero turns before. They're heavier than this Turf Tiger is, and they would do the exact same thing. They would slide around, one wheel locked up, one wheel moving just like crazy, which again is probably my driving technique or whatever, but it's still kind of aggravating. But that's pretty much it for my Scag mower experience. I just honestly wasn't all that impressed. It did discharge the whole width of the discharge port, fanned it out good, but it's still clumped, which that may just be because of the sheer volume of grass and everything and it being wet. But the second yard I mowed was mostly grass, less or right at 2 weeks of growth, which it does grow fast, so it was a pretty good amount of grass, and it's still a little bit wet, I believe, and everything else. But it cut cleaner because it was grass and wasn't weeds, but it still clumped really bad, which again I expected better out of such a machine, so that so many people talk so well about and everything. So not knocking on Scag, not knocking on the dealer for not having a blade sharpener, nothing like that. It's just I wasn't very impressed. But I was originally going to get a Scag Tiger Cat in 52-inch, but it was out. So honestly, one of them mowers may still be on my list of maybe getting later on if I get a zero turn. But I think my choices are going to be just the John Deere and the Scag, because I've used Ferris, I've used Kubota and everything else, but I think those two are just going to be my choices, mainly because of Scag, because people talk about them so much and they're so popular and everything else, and the Deere because I'm going to be getting a Deere garden tractor for a fact. I know that I'm going to get a Deere. I'm not going to go with anything else because I can't really use walk behinds very well because where I'm so big and so clumsy and everything else, my ankles are real bad shape too. I broke my right one back in 2013 and I've sprained it twice this year, so it hurts me quite a bit and trying to be on heels and everything, and I'm got a bad knee, bad back. I just can't really use walk behind on a heel that well. So I'm going to get a garden tractor. The one I've got now works good, but it's getting high hours, and I'd rather have something a little bit bigger better than it. So I'm going to go with a Deere garden tractor, and I'm going to demo sometime this year, I hope, a Deere zero turn. It's probably going to be a Z915E because that's what they demo at my dealer. So I'm going to try it out, and if it cuts better than the Scag, just cuts cleaner than anything, I'm going to go with a Deere because, like I say, I just wasn't very impressed with the Scag. But anyway, that was my experience with that dealer and the Scag mowers. Again, not knocking them or anything, I personally just wasn't all that impressed. Like I say, given the circumstances, I know, but again, I just wasn't very impressed with the cut quality. But anyway, look forward to a couple more videos coming up soon. I'm going to be recording them right now, but they'll be up eventually. So till then, I'll see y'all later.